Listen, you ever had a story told to you and you were sitting at the kitchen table like, girl, I know he didn't. Say what? Let me tell you. I am the founder of JH Publishing. For those of you who probably follow me from my personal channel, yes, I am also Jessica M. Harris here, and I am excited because I love the power of storytelling. I love being able to explore the experiences of which we go through and being able to leverage them to create the impact that is needed in the lives of not only ourselves, but those that we're surrounded by as well. So if you're here on this channel, or better yet, if you're new to this channel, definitely go ahead and like, share, and subscribe. Hit that bell above so you can be notified when these videos get ready to drop. I wanted to tell you guys first and foremost, I am sorry. Listen, I am etching an apology on your hearts today for neglecting this channel and not really showing up with the writer aspect of me here. I know there's pieces of me that y'all kind of see on the other channel, not just regarding writing, but really just all parts of my journey of navigating faith and so much more. But I wanted to highlight the writing component in its own separate space because, truth be told, this area here was a critical aspect of my journey. And honestly, God tells us to utilize all our gifts. So here I am showing up in the capacity in which I believe I'm called to be in. That being said, over the next 30 days, you guys, you're in for a whole treat. We're going to be diving into what I'm going to call this series 30 days of pages into purpose, meaning over the next 30 days, we're going to be diving into the challenges, the habits, the mindsets, right? All the pieces that were incorporated for me on my journey of becoming not only an author, but becoming a self publisher as well. Why? Because there's those of you guys who are also called to write, you're called to plan, you're called to bring things together, but some of you guys may be looking some prioritization skills. Some of you guys may have the habits that are needed to do your day to day, but when it comes to adding on this new facet of your life, when it comes to writing a book or talking about your journey, you might not have all the pieces together. So, we want to go ahead and offer you some tools that's going to help you to get your priorities in order and back in line. And we believe by faith that as you do, you're going to see exactly what is necessary in the season that you're called to. So, let me give you guys a little bit about me. I told you guys that I'm also the founder of the other channel, but I'm also the founder of Ignite Your Glow, which is a whole movement created for faith driven women just like yourselves who are ready to amplify their voices as they redefine what's possible with God. Not only that, I'm an empowerment coach. I am the podcast host of Ignite Your Glow, which is offering a space for women to really feel themselves amplified as they redefine what's possible with God. But it doesn't stop there. I'm also a mom to three incredible kids. And you guys, I am super pumped and excited for you all to be with me on this faith walk journey of exploring the ways in which writing has led to tremendous transformation, the ways in which the Lord was able to shift things, shape things, and rank some things out in my life in the process. So let's go ahead and get to today's conversation. Today's chapter 1 is all about the introduction. So I'm going to talk to you guys a little bit about why this challenge is coming forth. But before I do, I want to tell you guys a little bit about where journey of writing really came in for me. So here's a little story time to go with your cup of tea. So, for those of you who have probably heard it on our previous episodes, right? I talked to you guys of where writing came and developed. Now, writing was something that I always enjoyed doing as a kid, as a youth. It was something that I liked doing, and I would do it for fun. What happened was that I was really into reading, and I would read the books about, like, the Around the Way girls. I would read the books that were about girls who were in the hood and all types of stuff, right? Because I really enjoyed the theatrics and the dramatic plays of stories that really told the highlights of what it looked like to live in certain environments that reflected the ones that were closely related to mine and the ways in which the girls there were able to navigate, right, through some of the trials, through some of the storms, through the people, the networks, relationships, friendships, etc. So being able to read books that really reflected that from a perspective where I could relate to it honestly made the difference. Because when I was in school, a lot of the people that we read about were not written by people who looked like me. And oftentimes, the characters didn't look like me either. Their stories weren't similar to mine. They didn't have the same relatable aspects of what I was looking for when it came to reading at that age, especially as a teenager. So being in a position now, right, as an adult where I can write to those who are in relationships, who are in situations, who may be experiencing events in life, right, where and they need encouragement, or they're seeking transformation, or they're seeking to gain information from somebody who has lived a life that is similar to theirs, or maybe they can relate to the struggle, right, that a person has gone through, but being able to see how they were able to overcome through resilience, that gives them the empowerment to feel like, okay, if they did it, I can do it too. So for me, that's really the purpose and the exemplification that I really want to offer here when it comes to the storytelling that I do. I don't just want to tell a story just to tell a story. I want to be able to offer you a story that's going to move you to change, that's going to cause you to do some self reflections, that's going to cause you to say, what are the patterns that I'm noticing in my own life right now that are taking place? And how can I bring this forward? I want to be able to cultivate spaces and environments where you not only have your story that you're living through or that you have gone through already, but now that you're in a position where you can begin to share that story out to different outlets, and not only sharing the story out to different outlets, but how is it that you can begin to create impact, right? God allows us to use our gifts, and that allows us to monetize pieces. I'm not saying it's all about getting to the money, but it's definitely an aspect there that God is like, hey, these are your gifts. Utilize them. Sometimes we don't think that what's inside of us is important because we're dismissing it because of everything else that's happening. But God is giving us the is giving us the opportunity to leverage these gifts, to leverage our experiences, our stories, right? To allow it to bring forth the fruit, right? That is necessary for the harvest that God has already prepared for us, right? And that also allows our stories to do what? To edify other people. So many people are impacted simply through the tool of storytelling, right? They're able to relate. They're able to be like, oh my gosh, that helped me. Oh my goodness, that gave me insight in my own situation. Or, oh my gosh, I didn't even think about that being like a situation to even like occur. Like, wow, that now has me thinking about X, Y, and Z, right? There's so much that ties into the embodiment of storytelling. So being able to be in a position where we can share our stories, where we can tell, right? Where we can begin to network also with other people, other creators, other creatives alike, also allows change to take place. So that's really like my low key introduction as to who I am and what this channel is about, and as far as what you're able to expect over the next 30 days, right? So I told you guys about the fact that I'm excited to show you how I navigated certain habits, what needed to be built, what had to be let go, the mindsets that were necessary, and the reasons why I felt like this was so important, honestly speaking, was because there's a lot of people that I've spoken to when I've done coaching, and even people that I've spoken to, even just simply off the cuff, right? Like it'll be an encounter with somebody and we'll be in conversation and a book will kind of come up, or there's people who come to me specifically about doing one thing, but I'm like, you supposed to be writing a book or something? And they're like, yeah, I kind of start like it'll just be like the idea will come to me. And I'm like, God, I thank you for revealing. But now it's like, okay, God, let's get your daughter together, right? Like, let's get your child together. Let's help them see the pieces because sometimes we think we can't because we set limiting barriers before us. So, for example, there was a woman that I had met recently at an event. And she's a lovely woman. She's a nurse, has children, etc. And I love that she said she's like a nurse by what she says she's a nurse by night, but an entrepreneur by day because she does the overnight shift. And she told me about a book that she had been starting about. Um, it was involving with like mental health and other pieces and components, right? And I was looking at her like, girl, that book is so needed, right? Because I think about the aftermath, right, that we've gone through when it comes to the pandemic. So, needless to say, I'm gonna kind of run this short here, but I gave her some advice on some pieces. And I really just wanted her to testify that I understand busyness and I understand doing a lot and I get it because I've been there. But taking some time, a couple of days throughout the week to really like carve out intentional writing time for me personally is what helped me to see what it was that I needed to do. And it was in my seeking sessions with God where I journaled intentionally that allowed me to begin to pivot and to make the changes that were needed within my life, within the direction I was going in, and within the what's it called? Just within the pieces that I felt that were barriers in those different seasons that I was facing. And being able to offer a lot of these pieces to her with simple strategies, right? Things that she was able to implement right away. So although this was like a mini, like, discovery call that was really like off the cuff, because like I said, it was at an event. We just so happened to be in conversation, but it was that concept of understanding that all too often there are people that we're going to meet in our day to day who needs exactly what we already have gone through to be able for them to get through their seasons in their life right now. And I'm not trying to gatekeep. Like, no. I would much rather highlight to you guys what worked and be honest about what didn't work, right? And acknowledge the struggles, acknowledge the areas where it was like, Lord, what? But at the same time, right? Offering you the strategic approaches in which you're able to handle situations. Because sometimes what looks like a situation that's like, yo, this is going left, is really an opportunity for growth and development. And that was part of the mindset shifts, right? Hint, hint. So, as you can tell, right, there's a lot of different elements and a lot of different pieces that have come forth. As far as how long I've been writing, if I say writing with the approaches that God has really given me, like more insight on, then I'm going to say the last 3 years. But if you say, how long have you been simply writing in general? I'm going to tell you since I was a kid. Because I've always had the desire to write and tell stories. I always liked writing stories about fictional characters and, bravery and strength and courage and all these things. I really enjoyed it. I thought it was phenomenal to be able to highlight different elements and more. So, that being said, on this journey, I'm not only inviting you guys to listen and to tune in, but I'm inviting you guys to also drop in the comments and let me know every day that we're here, right? What you're gaining from this, right? Drop the little diamond below and whatever nugget you're taking away. For me, today is going to be starting fresh, right? Starting a brand new chapter because y'all don't see these labeled as episodes. You're going to see each of these like episodes literally being labeled as chapters because that's what came to me was that these are chapters that we're talking about and every chapter has its own story to tell. And I want that story to be highlighted for you in whatever capacity you need it to be said. So if you're someone who is trying to figure out, is it possible to start over? Yes, but you're not starting over from scratch. That's a whole, I don't know, that came to mind earlier this week, like a couple of days ago. Like when you're starting over, you're not starting over from scratch. So I just want to highlight that to you. Like you're not starting from scratch. So it's okay to start over. And if storytelling is the foundation that you're starting at, or writing the book, writing the story, right, then go with Habakkuk 2 too. Write the vision, make it plain. So he that runs, so he that reads it can go run with it, right? So understanding the value, right, and what it is that you're doing, what you're saying, how you're speaking, how you're representing yourself, and truly just so much more. So that is your piece for today. I am going to give you a fun fact about me because I just believe that a fun fact will help us to get to know each other a little better. So, fun fact about Jess is that I truly do love the color yellow. Yellow is my utmost favorite color in the entire world, hands down. I don't know why, like little ducks come to mind, right? Because they're yellow and cute. Like, oh man. So, yes, I really do like the color yellow. That is the fun fact about me. What I'm going to ask for you guys to do is drop in the comments your favorite color, right? And actually, I'm going to do this. Drop in the comments the code word for this video and just drop in the word ducks. And then when people are trying to figure out where ducks came from, I will know that they got this far in the video. So if you've gotten to this point in the video, I would love for you to drop in the comments the word ducks. That's it, just ducks. And definitely drop your gem as well, but drop in there a duck or two, and that'll let me know that you got to the end. So I am pumped. I am excited. Peace and blessings to all of you guys. And I look forward to catching you guys on the next chapter of JH Publishing on the journey of 30 days. Hmm. Pages, turning pages into purpose. Let's see what happens. Peace and blessings, you guys. Check out the description box below for any ways in which you would like to work with me, for any ways in which you want to connect with me. And yeah, let's get to it. There's work to be done.